Today I'm going to talk about the Bonneville on this particular one. I'll turn everything on. Came out to cut the grass, but it's raining a little bit. So I was watching Chief Classics. Wish I had that name because I got a friend that calls me Chief. And he had a, yeah, here it ran, dadgummit. Alright, anyhow, he had the 66 or 7, what is it, 2x2 Catalina or something, and pre-67. This is a 64, and I saw him doing that single brake line thing. Ooh, Nelly, I don't like that. Huh. So here's a Tandem. I was wondering, it was powder coated, but it's getting to it. That was a long time ago. This is what I did. This was a single zip speed, and I do have a power booster and all. All I did was, and I'll try to point it out to you. Make it cool, you know. So usually the front is the back and the back is the front. So this is the back one, and all you do is run a single line. Easy to buy, and buy them already made. Get a straight connector and go to the back. Okay? Then you can go to the other one. This is usually 2 different size fittings. Just get them when you get this thing. Like I say, I think this is for a 68 or 9 Bonneville. Fine. Make sure you get it for power brakes. Don't be like a dummy that I knew one time who wanted me to put a booster on his car, and I told him to get the different cylinder because it was a manual and he didn't. How come it stopped so hard? Well, it's because you didn't listen to me. So anyway, get your other hose, go here, and you see it, and you can just go right down to your front T fitting, which is right there with the bolt going through it. It's right here. You can see all the lines going to it, and that splits. One goes to the right, one goes to the left. And that's all there is to it. It's very simple. It's very cheap by comparison. And he had one where somebody had just hit the heck out of that thing. And so I don't know if that was the reason why. Instrumentation was broken by poor guy's knees, and oh, it's terrible. Alright, so other things. I'm just going to walk around now. Just put a regular battery in it. You don't need an AGM in this particular model. And see, I got the big power steering pump. I got the 3-wire alternator. It came equipped with air conditioning, although I put a Although I put a vintage air in it. Hardly ever used it. I'm using an Edelbrock electric choke. There's the Edelbrock adjustable, a very expensive fuel pump with the I think that's a glow shift pressure device there, fuel pressure gauge. And I run solid wires. I got regular point ignition. It's just fine. I got nice heat when I need it. Vintage air did the whole thing. See if I can get over here and not get spider bit too bad. There's my plate there, showing an A31 accessory, a C11 accessory, a C60 accessory, and a U75 accessory, although there are more on here than that. It has the crossing big old blades there. I just changed those blades. Poor guy had trouble with his bonnet or hood hinges, poor thing. So we'll go over here in just a minute, but I do want to show you this, and I hope he watches this because his little 2+2 had a lot of options. I was very impressed. Don't think I need that anymore. Okay. So I put the seat belts in it. Like I said, when I was a little boy, it was a real thrill to play with this little switch right here. And I found this at Radio Shack, and that turns these lights on back here. So that was really fun. And this has the electric windows, has the vent window. A good story about that was that didn't work, but all the pieces had fallen down in there, so I was able to save it, and I had to rebuild these door panels. So it's got the night and day mirror adjustment. There's the air conditioning vent. There's the dome light, as good as it, such as it is. Top, up, and down. That's the vintage air controller. Thought I heard something talking to me. It's got the big old hydromatic, super hydromatic. So reverse is at the back. It's got the adjustable mirror. It's got the dealer optioned right-hand mirror, which I understand is a very valuable thing. It came with AM, FM. There's the air conditioner controller that you can see does that. I remember seeing my mother play with that when I was a little boy, or make it work. Used to have a high, low, and off thing in there for the blower motor, but that's gone, and I had that out one time down there. Boy, what a mess. Of course, aftermarket radio. This car has the grab bar, which they all had. Now on Fords and Thunderbirds, that was kind of a rarity. And let's see if I can get the clock to run. Come on, clock. There it goes. I'll tell you a secret about this clock. This is a modern $4 clock workings behind there that I cut to fit. And there's the little AAA battery that runs it. And every now and then you can change it, but that's the original face and hands. And so I thought that was a good idea. This thing also has the little button right here, and that is a vacuum controlled release for the trunk lid. This didn't have fresh air over there, but it does over here. I think those are the original speaker covers. This was interesting too. It did not have the light in the dash for emergency brake. I wired that up. Oh, I got the key. Well, I tell you what, let's just turn on and make things work. I can do that. But let's finish up the some of the other stuff here. So this is a GM. I'll tell you another thing too. When I got this car, it didn't. It was missing some of the letters, and it has the power antenna. I don't think I went into that. And so you got the letters here, got the letters down the side, and the other side. So I was able to get enough letters to spell Bonneville, and I made a wax casting of them, of the ones that I needed, and made a mold, and I poured in JB Weld, and the next day I was able to paint them. I think that's one of them for sure. And then you can make the little backup pieces. It's not hard to do. I don't know if you can get them. So there's the original radiator. It's not worth $1,000 to make that work. There's the original spare tire, and I don't know if that's the original spare tire, but it is a cover. And there's the jack, and there's the controller for the trunk release right there. Now I went through this thing and put. Let me tell you another secret. This thing was running the battery down. There's a controller switch over here. All I'm gonna do is follow the wires, and it went out, and the trunk light was burning, and I didn't know it, and it ran the battery down. I didn't find it. So when I tore the entirety of the interior of this car out, I looked back up through here, and I could see the light was on. And that's how I knew that. I put a mercury switch out of a thermostat, old thermostat. So we're going to turn her on. I'm not going to crank her up because A, it's raining, and B, I'm not going on a long trip here. So I carry my little vest and a fire extinguisher with me. Don't want anything to happen to the old girl. So, oh, here you go. You saw that? See that light coming on there? So if you hit this switch right here, see, it turns all the lights on in the car. So it's pretty cool. But every now and then I turn that on and nobody really cared. Nobody minded that I did that when I was a kid. Now the wood and the steering wheel is a aftermarket idea I got, I think, from a Car Classic guy. But let's see, there's the speaker controller. 1, 2, 3 different settings. And let's turn the lights on, and you can see there's my little Indian head, and we'll turn those off because I don't want to drain the battery. I'm going to turn this all the way to blue because I want to at least think it's cool. So what I did was, I was telling you about this, just a little walk around. Okay. So there comes all my stuff, but see, when you push the brake, now I found this was not wired up at all. It didn't have a bulb in it, didn't have a switch down here, had nothing. So let me turn this off real quick. Okay, and I'll go disconnect. I have the self-sensing fuel gauge, love it. I have a water gauge. I have the wideband fuel thing, don't need it now that I've adjusted the carburetor. I have the lamp for the alternator, oil pressure. This is the fuel pump. This it turns this on, and this is the fan. Here, and that's a spell fan. That is not a whatever they call the other kind. That I don't like as much because they're not as good. But I got an electric fan in it, and I got relays all over it, and I got the great big fuse in it in case there's an electrical problem. I've rewired most of this myself, and I guess that's about it. The only history I know is I think it was a Florida car built in Linton, New Jersey, I think, and I've got it in Peoria and drove it home. The other interesting story is this motor has several hundred miles on it from a rebuild from a man who'd been doing them his whole life. This was the last one he did. I have the super cooler water pump on it. Never can remember the name of it. I always want to call it Coolerator from the song from Chuck Berry, but I never can, or Cool or something. They're good. Have the 12 volt hooked to the starter. Cranks on 12, runs on 9, but only because of a ballast resistor I put there, and that's just nice. And so what else can I tell you that I've done? When a long time ago, before I got it here, I had a bad cylinder, and it ended up being that the divorce choke thing or something was leaking air, and it caused the exhaust valve to burn or something. I don't know what happened. And so I got an ARP head stud kit. That didn't work because you can't, these are special, and you can't get your dipstick, your oil dipstick, to hold on it properly. So, well, you just end up with all kind of fun facts here. So I always like to leave this down because I don't want the birds getting in it, so I put it down gently, and I just leave the battery thing hooked up. Don't take too long to charge it, but this is her, and there's what it says on the side. It says Bonneville. I don't have the 2+2, but I do have a big Bonneville with the nice sun visors. And so that's about it. Dash is easy to come out of it. There's some bolts up here. You take the arms off and the cowling off, a couple of bolts, and then there's those screws up under there. It comes off pretty quickly, so you can get back there and do all that stuff. I had to make that. This is real wood in here. That's fake wood right there. That piece over there was missing. I had to make that piece. It's very thin, and but that's okay. Don't care. I did that a long time ago. Believe it or not, I cleaned and painted all the seats. I put carpet in it. That's almost brand new carpet. I guess that's Pontiac dealer mats, front and back. I don't know. I wish I had more history on it, but I don't. And there's the original parade boot. You want to put a couple of carpets in there or something to at least help the mice or whatever. But just, no, you always put mouse stuff around and keep the mice away. There's a couple of packing blankets in there. Keeps that from looking flat And if you don't do that, I remember when I got the car, it was flat and it would flutter a little bit, and I said I didn't like that. So just pack it up a little bit. And I rebuilt that. There's a pump down there for the soft top to go up, and I cleaned all that out and rebuilt that thing. So I can't remember the last time the top was on it, up on it. Anyway, it's on it now, but it's just not up. So I believe the hubcaps are 1 year off. Some guy in a parking lot told me that one time, and it seems like that was verified. I've gone through the transmission. Of course, the motor, like I said, is new. All kind of new stuff. The other interesting thing, if you look back on my videos, there are 4 braces for the rear axle that are sort of a channel steel. And I was watching Derek. We all know who Derek is, Vice Grip Garage. And he came up on an old Chevy where they had taken those U-shaped I guess connecting rods is what you call them, I don't know. And they welded a strip of metal on them, so I did that. But the problem is bushings. So, okay, well that's enough of this. This is a good long haul here. But I couldn't get bushings for those 4 things, so I needed 8 bushings. So I got this stuff. I'm sure it's long since gone off or gotten hard or whatever they do. And it's this stuff. I might have thrown it away already. I guess maybe I did. But you can, yeah, oh yeah, I opened it. Seems like months ago now, and it had gone off. But it's called a shore hardness, and you can pour your own bushings for whatever you got, be it a Honda Civic or whatever. So I did that a couple of years ago, and I got the red dye. Looks pretty cool underneath there. So I did all that, but I forget what the company is. It doesn't matter. You can look it up online. There's plenty of YouTube videos about that. So that's about the longest 1-segment video I think I've ever done, because usually I'm doing other things. So I'm going to try to fix up this burned out regulator. Believe it or not, I'm going to try that. And so we're going to do that. But there she is in all her glory. And she's pretty solid. I pulled all this stuff, this chrome strip stuff off, trying to stop any rust. I didn't find any. It's been undercoated like crazy. So it's just fine. Oh no! A dead hummingbird. Oh, I try so hard to take care of him. I guess he just got trapped in here. Oh, I hate that. Oh. Well, let's not dwell on the past. You ever see that Chris Fix one when one was in the radiator with his nose stuck in the radiator? Too bad, so sad. This has true dual exhaust, and it's got the 1 year only 64 tail lights, and it's just a groovy car, fun to ride in. It's the living room on wheels. First thing I think of when I get in is where's the nearest Dairy Queen so I can get a dip cone. And I just like the vanilla dipped in chocolate. Don't want anything fancy. So anyway, you can see that big old vintage air thing down there. And that's about it. It does not have the tilt steering wheel like he had. But it's in fine shape. I jumped in her and drove her 800 miles. It took me a couple of days, of course, and drove her 800 miles home about 15 or 20 years ago, and leaked oil because it had those phenolic timing gears in them. And I mentioned this to that guy on Chief Classics. So when Blue and I started taking this apart, he told me the story that what they would do is they put those phenolic plastic timing gears in them. And I changed that even before I got it. I had changed that almost instantly because the timing was jumping so bad because the chain was so bad. But the original ones, the teeth would start coming off, and the little pieces of gear would go down in the oil pan. And so they would loosen the oil pan, and they would just like get a power washer and blow it all out. But still, and then sometimes they'd forget to tighten up the oil pan, and that's what my problem was coming home. I had a couple of problems. That was one, was it leaked oil, and I didn't know why, but the oil pan was loose. And I remember you can't get the oil pan out of these cars without pulling the motor, and I wasn't in a situation then to do that. And I just got RTV on the glove and just packed all around and bolted it up, and that did pretty good. But Blue and I found pieces of those gears and a tip of a fuel pump, and I don't have a mechanical fuel pump on this thing. I don't like those. And so then when I pulled the oil filter head off of this car, it had a couple of those little teeth up in there too. So interesting times, huh? So it has a gauge and a light, and it's all wired and plumbed and everything for that. So that's a big old walk around the old Bonbon. I call her Bonbon, you know, it's kind of natural. So there she is. And I do a lot of woodworking, so everything here gets covered with wood dust. So it's just the way it is. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'm going to go work on that voltage regulator. I'm not going to do much more than that though, because man, it's hot down here. I'm going to back up Daphne and get my overhanging creeper, and I'm going to work on trying to work on an oil leak on this topside creeper. I knew I'd remember it once I read the name on the side of it. So we're going to be doing this next. I still haven't finished the accelerator cable on the little Spitfire, but today it's just set up. It's almost 6 o'clock, and I haven't been here today, so I hadn't been here. Grass is crazy out there, so I'm gonna, oh, poor thing. All right, well, in loving memory of Tippy the hummingbird there. I just hate that. All right, but I don't know. They always hung around here. Even before I had the feeder, they were always hanging around here. Just hanging around and hanging around. All right, bye-bye, guys. Thanks for watching, spending time with me, as always. It's always nice to end a video on a little flora and fauna. The soybeans are coming in nice, the grass is growing, the driveway's leveling out, and the frogs are going to courting over there. She don't look like she's going, there she goes. You might be able to see them. I don't want to go out there right now, it's kind of raining. But my little Kaiser Wilhelm hat thing looks pretty good. I got green lights on them last night. If I think about it, I'll try to get a little bit of that in, but I bought those little waterproof lights a long time ago, and they come with different color lenses. So I got some green light up on the Frog Hotel, and so I was hoping that would attract them. It looked like another frog, maybe, I don't know. But that's working out pretty good. As you can tell, I moved it a little bit so the splash wouldn't go outside of the pond. But it's rained so much, it's about to fill it up. So I'm going to soon, when it starts to cool off a little bit, I'm going to get every rock I can gather around here. And they're at every corner of the house and every corner of the barn down there. And I've got a bunch in the back of the Snow Bear trailer. So I'm going to try to dress this thing up a little bit coming up. My other idea, see those little lumps right there? That's the siding, the stone siding that I did, the ginstone. I got a bunch of that left. And I'm going to cut some of that up and maybe go around this corner and dress it up. But I got to have it at absolute full pond and get a water level and try to just cover up all that black plastic I can. Maybe go around the whole rim so it'll look a little nicer. But it looks like a black plastic pond on it. Well, that's because that's what it is. But let's try to hide that a little later. It's almost the end of July, so it'll probably be after Halloween, probably be November before I can start on that project, just because of the way of my genetic makeup is not going to allow me to be out there. Might be able to take a little bites at a time in the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy, but the grass is getting thick. And so anyway, just like to end stuff with a little bit of a scene like this. It's kind of fun. A lot of us do this. so that's what it looks like right now. Thanks for watching.